Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, spirit draw near. Number 389 in your great hymnals, rise in body or in spirit. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, spirit draw near. Getting the hang of it, let's do it again. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, spirit draw near. Are you ready to do it around? I think you can take it. I think you can handle it. 389. 389. That helps if you actually have it in front of you.
A lot of faith in us.
I do. Just two. So divide amongst yourselves. So let's have number ones over here, and then I'll bring in number two over here, okay? All right. And let's do it twice as a round. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the spirit of the power, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in this one strong body, spirit draws near, spirit draws near. You did it! Please be seated. You all did great. It is not by chance that you arrived here today. You have been looking for something larger than yourself. Inside of you, there is a yearning, a calling, a hope for more, a desire for a place of belonging and care. Through your struggles, someone nurtured you into being, instilling a belief in a shared purpose, a common yet precious resource that belongs to all of us when we share. And so you began seeking a beloved community, a people that does not put fences around love, a community that holds its arms open to possibilities of love, a heart home to nourish your soul and share your gifts. Welcome home. Welcome to worship. Good morning, I'm the Reverend Lynn Cox. My pronouns are they, them. I am the interim minister here at the Unitarian Society. Thank you to my colleague Kimberly Tomchak Carlson for those opening words. So as we prepare to light our candle for the chalice of our UU faith, I'm going to invite Anna, and is it both of you or just Anna? Who's going to come forward? Both Anna and Alex to come forward. Well, sure. You start again. Go ahead.
We light the chalice with these words from religious education classes. You are welcome to do the motions along with the words. We light this chalice as Unitarian,
Go ahead.
Universalist. We are a church of open minds, helping hands, and loving hearts.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome to the Unitarian Society, located in East Brunswick, New Jersey, and online everywhere. I welcome you to our multi-platform Sunday service. I am Chris Fisher. Today, I am your worship associate. My pronouns are he, him. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, sexualities, and genders. We are all growing, all learning, all loved. Just as you are welcome here. If you are new, a very special welcome to you. We hope you experience connection and compassion and a feeling of coming home. If you are new or newish today, we hope that you will fill out one of the visitor forms at the welcome table so we can be in touch or reach out at the email in the chat. Today's service is multi-generational for the entire hour. The service is designed with many opportunities to participate so that people of various ages, heights, and attention spans can find meaning and connection in worship. The VIP space is open to all, or you might enjoy sitting closer to enjoy the story today. If a child or youth really needs a break later in the service, please take Miss Francesca and another adult with you. We hope you will stay at least long enough to make gratitude soup at the end of the story. Today and every day, we welcome the wiggles and giggles that come with the sound of abundant life. Announcements for today, November 12th. 1. 15 minutes of fun is happening after the service today. Check out the dance party. Immediately after services end, we'll clear the floor of the sanctuary, put on some tunes, and proceed to cut a rug to the best dance tunes of the 60s and 70s. 2. Super Sunday returns today after the service. $3 gets you all the soup you can eat. Dance first. Don't miss your 15-minute disco window. Then come and replenish your dancing energy with some soup. 3. The Walkathon for Interfaith Rise in support of refugees and asylees is today from 2 to 4 p.m. It'll start and end at the Reformed Church, 19 South 2nd Avenue, Highland Park. Parking is on nearby streets or behind the church, entered from Magnolia Street. This year's walk will be shorter to allow walkers wishing to spend time upon return to the church to meet other walkers, staff, and volunteers. Finally, anyone interested in singing in the pickup choir for Christmas Eve is invited to a rehearsal after service next week, November 19th. Please see Heather Wall, Clarissa Ashcraft, Del Sasso, or music director Iman Dingle for information about the pickup choir. Looking further ahead, there will be a kids' Christmas chorus rehearsal on December 3rd. So mark your calendar for that if you have a singing young person in your family. Thank you to our worship crew. Jackie B. and Ken is our worship techs, greeters Jackie H. and Bonnie, and Maria is our chat chaplain. For those in the sanctuary, please place any device you have in worship mode. No sounds or flashes, though you're welcome to take photos, especially if you share them with us by emailing them to uutus@comcast.net. Let yourself settle into this shared space, a time for raising up that which is worthy. And now, let us join in saying together our bond of union, one of the founding documents of the congregation. In the spirit of community and service, we unite in the quest for those values that give our lives deeper meaning and spiritual satisfaction, reserving to each individual the right to their own beliefs as to the nature of God and the universe.
Thanks, Chris. We're going to sing some more. This time we're getting out the teal hymnal, number 1010. We give thanks. We ran through this a couple of weeks ago, as you may remember. Give you a minute to find your page on 1010. Okay, let's rise in body and or in spirit. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here. got your microphone ready?
The story of stone soup has been told in many languages and cultures. The version we're using today is a retelling by John J. Muth. He imagines the tale in a Chinese Buddhist setting, following a traditional format in which tricksters spread enlightenment.
All over the world, stone soup is a legend that teaches us to give of ourselves. So I don't know if the story happened exactly this way, but I believe it's true. 3 Buddhist monks, Ha, Lok, and Sel, traveled along the mountain road, and they talked about cat whiskers and the color of the sun and giving.
What makes one happy, Sal? Asked Hawk, the youngest monk. Old Sal, who was the wisest, said, let's find out.
The sound of a bell brought their gaze to the rooftops of a village below. They couldn't see from so high up that the village had been through many hard times. Famine, floods, and war had made the villagers weary and untrusting of strangers, and they had even become suspicious of their neighbors.
The villagers worked hard, but only for themselves. There was a farmer, a tea merchant, a scholar, a seamstress, a doctor, a carpenter, and many others, but they had little to do with one another.
When the monks reached the foot of the mountain, the villagers disappeared into their houses. No one came to the gates to greet them, and when the people saw them enter the village, they closed their windows tight.
The monks knocked on the door of the first house. There was no answer. Then the house went dark. They knocked on the second door, and the same thing happened. It happened again and again, from one house to the next.
These people do not know happiness, they agreed. But today, said Sal, his face as bright as the moon, we will show them how to make stone soup. And they gathered twigs and branches, and they made a fire, and they placed a small tin pot and filled it with water from the village well.
A brave little girl who had been watching came to them. What are you doing? She asked.
We are gathering twigs, said Locke.
We are making a fire, said Hawk.
We are making stone soup, and we need 3 round, smooth stones, said Sal.
The little girl helped the monks look around the courtyard until they found just the right ones. Then they put them in the water to cook.
These stones will make an excellent soup, said Sal, but this very small pot won't make much soup, I'm afraid.
My mother has a bigger pot, said the girl.
The little girl ran home. As she started to take the pot, her mother asked what she was doing.
The 3 strangers are making soup from stones, she said. They need our biggest pot.
Said the girl's mother. Stones are easy to come by. I'd like to know how to do that.
The monks poked the coals. As smoke drifted up, the neighbors peered out from their windows. The fire and the large pot in the middle of the village was a true curiosity.
One by one, the people of the village came out to see just what this stone soup was. We're going to pause the story here. Just as the story includes people who worry, people who have been through difficult times, people who were on a journey, and people who long to connect with others. We have among us people with joys and gifts, sorrows and concerns, gratitude and big questions and wonder. So there will be a chance to share some of those joys and sorrows in a moment. And I'd also like to call your attention to the pieces of paper with vegetables printed on them. So some of the pieces of paper have colors, some of them are ready for you to color. There's crayons by the VIP space and crayons by the hymnals. And if you would like on these pieces of paper to draw or write a gift that you have to share or something you're thankful for. And the gift doesn't have to be a material gift. It can be a talent, it can be a personality trait, it can be a big question. So that's an activity for during the service. And then after the story, before the end of the service, there will be a time to bring those things up and put them in the pot. All right, so All of those are good ingredients for soup. And I also know that we're carrying a lot of joys and sorrows. So let's turn our attention to that. I was just supposed to say meditation. Sorry. We're going to go right into the meditation. As we consider the joys and sorrows in our community, both spoken and unspoken, let's give thanks for the gifts around us and within us. We give thanks for the gift of knowing friends and loved ones. We give thanks for the lives that have passed into memory. We give thanks for the care that we receive and the opportunity to give. We give thanks for the seeds of ideas and hopes that may in time grow into mighty witnesses for the spirit of life. So thinking about how small gifts can turn into great things, I'm reminded of acorns. Acorns are falling all around. Maybe they are falling where you live. I know in my yard, they're falling all around. The deer come into our yard to feast on them every day, and the squirrels are busily laying in store the acorns that they can't eat right now. But the squirrels don't always remember where they put the acorns. And so in time, some of them will sprout into seedlings. And those in time may grow into trees. So a little acorn holds a big tree, and a big tree makes little acorns. One is contained inside of the other, part of the flow of life from generation to generation. Kind of like a what chain? A food chain, yes, especially when you get the squirrels and the deer in there. Because then they can like fertilize the trees. Totally. So there's a movement meditation about oak trees, and you can do it in different ways, depending on how you're feeling today and what's good for your body. If today is good for stillness, you don't have to move at all. If you are having a day for gentle movement, you can go like this. Acorn, 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 tree. Okay? Acorn, 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 tree. I looked for an ASL sign for acorn and everybody was finger spelling it. We're not going to do that. Acorn, 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 tree. Okay. But if you are in the mood for bigger movement, you want to move into the aisles or the back and be mindful of your neighbors, you can do it this way. Acorn, 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 tree. Okay, anybody want to do that part with me? Acorn, 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 tree. Okay, let's do the acorn, 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 tree. Okay, so stillness and gentle movement and jumping movement together. Let's do that 3 times. Acorn, 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 tree. Acorn, 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 tree. Acorn, 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 tree. Let's tree. Tree. Yes. Some trees take longer than others. That's true. That's true.
We missed you.
All right. So as we go through the rest of our day and our week and busy month ahead, let's remember that great things can start from small things, and that small things can be full of nourishment and wonder. So with that thought, we're going to have quiet meditation time. After the singing bowl resonates, we're going to listen till we can't hear the singing bowl anymore. And then we're going to take 3 deep breaths. And then we're going to stay seated and sing Spirit of Life. So let us find the seeds of strength within us. Sing in my heart.
The monks poked the coals of the fire that was warming up the soup pot. A crowd gathered in the town square. Of course, old-style stone soup should be well seasoned with salt and pepper, said Hawk.
That is true, said Locke, as he stirred the giant pot filled with water and stones, but we have none.
I have some salt and pepper.
Where's the salt and pepper? Bring it up.
What?
Go ahead.
I have some salt and pepper, said the
Right.
scholar, his eyes big with curiosity. He disappeared and came back with salt and pepper and even a few other spices.
So how did it taste? The last time we had soup stones of this size and color, carrots made the broth very sweet.
Carrots? Said a woman from the back. I may have a few carrots, but just a few.
Where's our carrots? Bring
And
them up.
off she ran. She returned with as many carrots as she could carry and dropped them into the pot.
Do you think it would be better with onions? Asked Hawk.
Oh, yes, maybe an onion would taste good, said a farmer.
Where's our onions?
What? And he hurried off. He returned in a moment with 5 big onions, and he dropped them into the bubbling soup. Now that's a fine soup, he said.
Oh, good, more onions. Gotta have lots of onions. The villagers all nodded their heads as the smell was very agreeable. But only if we had some mushrooms, said Sal, rubbing his chin. Oh, there's the mushrooms. More mushrooms. Gotta have lots of mushrooms.
Several villagers licked their lips. A few dashed away and returned with fresh mushrooms, noodles, pea pods, and cabbages.
Where's the pea pods? Who's got pea pods? All right, great. There they go, right in the soup. And something magical began to happen among the villagers. As each person opened their heart to give, the next person gave even more. And as this happened, the soup grew richer and smelled more delicious.
I imagine the emperor would suggest we add dumplings, said one villager. And bean curd, said another. What about cloudier and mung beans and yams, cried some others.
Okay, I think we've got dumplings and bean curd and yams somewhere. Come on, bring them on up into the soup. What? Very important sound effects. And taro root and winter melon and baby corn, cried other villagers. Garlic, ginger root, soy sauce, lily buds, ginger root. Somebody has ginger. Rich has ginger.
I have some, people cried out, and off they ran, returning with all they could carry.
The monks stirred and the pot bubbled. How good it smelled. How good it would taste. How giving the villagers had become. So we're going to pause the story one more time. Just as the villagers were learning the joy of sharing their gifts, we also take great joy in sharing our gifts. In a moment, we'll be able to share our material gifts in the Sunday offering. And during the offertory music, you're also welcome to get up and get more paper or different crayons as you continue to create your ingredients for gratitude soup.
In the spirit of generosity, we will now take up this morning's offering. If this is your first time joining us, please be our guest and let this service be our offering to you. We invite you to use the link in the chat, the QR code for Breeze Giving on the screen, or the basket in the back of the sanctuary to give us part of what we call it Be the Change, turning what the change in our pockets into the change we want to see in the world. Most weeks, half of your donation goes to sustain this congregation, and the other half to a community partner living our shared values. This week's partner is iRise. Interfaith Refugee and Immigrant Services and Empowerment is a multi-faith, multi-congregational, multiracial organization committed to welcoming the stranger in central New Jersey. Interfaith Rise facilitates and supports the self-sufficiency and community integration of refugees and asylees from across the world through affordable housing, English language proficiency, and cultural orientation, and by providing access to social, mental health, and healthcare services in New Jersey. Interfaith Rise draws strength and vision from its multicultural and multi-faith coalition that welcomes and promotes respect for refugees from diverse traditions and backgrounds. TUS is a proud and consistent supporter of iRise, and we will be participating together in the iRise Community Walk this afternoon. May your generosity heal the world and strengthen your heart. At last, the soup was ready. The villagers gathered together. They brought rice and steamed buns.
They brought lychee nuts and sweet cakes. They brought tea to drink, and they lit lanterns.
Everyone sat down to eat. They had not been together for a feast like this for as long as anyone could remember. After the banquet, they told stories, sang songs, and celebrated long into the night.
Then they unlocked their doors and took the monks into their homes and gave them very comfortable places to sleep.
A gentle spring morning, everyone gathered together near the willows to say farewell.
Thank you for having us as your guests, said the monks. You have been most generous.
Thank you, said the villagers. With the gifts you have given, we will always have plenty. You have shown us that sharing makes us all richer.
And to think, said the monks, to be happy is as simple as making stone soup. The end. Thank you to Chris for helping me tell the story. Thank you to all my vegetable people. So this is the time to share the gifts that we've prepared during the service. If you've colored a page or written a note or made a drawing, you can bring it to the front during the processional music or ask a neighbor to bring it to the front for you. Some of what you created may represent things that you're thankful for. When we practice gratitude, it's a lot easier to believe that we have enough and that we can share. If the monks ask for a carrot, we can be more confident about sharing what we have. Some of what you've created may represent gifts that you have to share. Your gifts can be skills or talents that you have, or your way of caring for others, your enthusiasm and humor, or something else that reflects your unique spark. And if you want to keep your artwork, we know that your gifts are still in the pot, and that's okay. Everything we bring together helps make our community more joyful and nourishing. May the gratitude and gifts presented bless this congregation, the larger community, and the world. Please come forward as you're moved. I hope everybody stays, but if somebody were to sneak off to play in childcare now, I wouldn't be offended. During the height of the lockdown, some of us picked up new activities or coping strategies to get through the day. Some of us have spent all of our energy surviving, and they weren't able to access coping strategies or do any new projects, and that's also real and common and not a character flaw. Baking sourdough bread seemed popular in some circles. Some of my knitting and crocheting friends leaned into their art. Some people read more novels, though I have to confess I found it difficult to concentrate on fiction during that time. One thing that did help me was playing a video game called Stardew Valley. Anybody else know Stardew Valley? I still play sometimes. When I'm done with my garden chores in my real garden, or I don't have the energy to do anymore, I take 15 minutes to tend to the farm in my game. In the game, there are no crop-eating insects. You're prevented from accidentally planting crops out of season. And all you have to do to keep the farm animals happy is feed them and pet them every day. Because it's a game, there are various challenges that are set up that earn the player different kinds of rewards. And one of the challenges is a summer feast in which your character is asked to bring something to what is called a potluck, but you find out when you get there is actually a kind of stone soup. If you bring something not so tasty and you add it to the soup, the non-player characters are disappointed. And if you don't bring anything, the governor comments that the soup tastes like something is missing. And if you bring something from your farm that is really good, it's just the thing the soup needs. And the governor is impressed and everybody is happy and you get friendship points. As a secret hint from me to you, I have found that high quality goat cheese gets the best reaction. In real life, we can't always tell easily when our contributions matter. We don't always have clear instructions about what to put in the soup. And it's hard to believe sometimes that we have something to give. In real life, we need to have upfront conversations about our collective efforts because some of our neighbors would not enjoy soup made with goat cheese. And enormous soup pots do not clean themselves. Of course, it's not literally always about the soup. Sometimes it is. I'm really looking forward to Super Sunday after the service today. So thank you to the people who volunteered to cook and serve and clean up. And thank you to everyone who plans to stay for dancing and soup today. Your presence will help make it a fun event. But usually, soup is a metaphor for something else, such as the beloved community that we co-create by making a place to hold our gifts and encouraging each other to give and to receive. Stone soup is a popular story. Just about every clergy person and religious educator I know has presented this story at some point. I know you'll all have heard it in this room annually, maybe. often. Yet there are nuances and different things we can bring out of the story that we need to hear at our own particular location in history. My religious educator colleague Liz James made a point that was really helpful to me. She said, "We're taught that this tale is about tricking a meal out of selfish people, but I don't really think that's what happened. I mean, if someone asked me if I had a meal to share with them and I only had a half a teaspoon of salt or a few old vegetables that are always at the back of my fridge, I would say I couldn't help. I wouldn't be lying when I said I had nothing to give. I'd just be wrong." When we say there's nothing we can do, we're not lying. The phone call that we might make, the $5 we might donate, that quick email of encouragement that we might send, these things feel so small that we think they're the same as having nothing to offer. The Stone Soup story isn't about selfish people. It's about people who thought they were powerless. It's about people learning that they had something to offer that would feed themselves and each other. So Liz blew my mind with that. It's a subtle difference. The version of the story we used this morning suggests that the villagers' reluctance to share is a kind of collective exhaustion. In Muth's version, he says, the village had been through many hard times. Famine, floods, and war had made the villagers weary and untrusting of strangers. This seems to lead to a widespread feeling of having not enough, of not knowing how to share, of not knowing if anything we do matters. And I think our culture is in a similar place. COVID is not really over. And though we did get through the lockdown phase, I'm not sure we have actually processed what happened. Add to that the impact of long COVID and the increase in unrecognized family caregiving and continuing threats to peace, racial justice, and democracy. And I can understand why people in our world are weary. So it's a good time to return to the story of Stone Soup and to remember that our gifts matter and that sharing brings joy. So the questions I want to explore with you today in light of the Stone Soup story are about giving and receiving. Whose gifts matter and how do we appreciate one another? Whose gifts matter? Yours, yours, yours on Zoom. And the neighbor whose name appears next to yours in the Zoom participants list, and the neighbor who's watching or listening later on YouTube, and the neighbor who is in the kitchen or in the office or in the TARDIS right now, keeping this community going. And the neighbor whose gift is that they keep surviving in a world that dehumanizes them. And the neighbor who isn't sure how to re-enter this community after some time away. All of our gifts matter. That is, I hope, a clear message from the Stone Soup story. And the travelers in the story have gifts too. They didn't have material things to share, but they had an organizing principle, a way of evoking curiosity. A story that became a container into which people could imagine their gifts being channeled. The gift of being able to bring other gifts together cannot be underestimated. And bringing people together remains one of the hardest things to do as we rebuild in a COVID-normalized world and we continue to come to terms with the ongoing traumas of our neighborhoods, nation, and world. It is hard to find the town square where we can call out to invite others to join us. Answering the door or an email is more than some people can bear. So it's hard to know what we're working with or how to combine gifts or how to rebuild energy and trust. At our best, the end of the story reflects what communities like this one can be. Containers where people know they can share their gifts and combine them to bring love and justice into the world. And there have been a lot of obstacles over the last 3 years that have gotten in the way of our ability to do that. If you have a gift that went unacknowledged, I am so sorry. And I hope we can talk about it. Communities like the Unitarian Society can't use every ingredient every time, even high quality goat cheese. Yet when we show up for each other, we can celebrate the dazzling beauty of the people among us. Organizing our gifts into the stone soup pot of beloved community is going to take more work as we figure out how to be who we are in the world that is unfolding. So please do keep showing up, even if you don't feel like you have a gift or energy to share. Just you being here, virtually or physically, matters. Please do support the members who are taking on leadership roles. Please do talk to a committee leader or a staff member or someone from the Leadership Development Committee, hey Kathy, about how to help create this container, this soup pot, this cauldron of transforming our gifts into love and justice. Another side to this equation is that we need to appreciate each other's gifts, even when, and especially when, they don't look like our own. Whose contributions are worthy? Who counts as smart? Many of us are worn thin, and so it's more difficult and more important to express gratitude and appreciation for the gifts of people around us. Let's approach one another with curiosity and respect. Do bring your gifts for our community soup and also thank the person next to you for doing the same. The story of Stone Soup encourages each of us to remember that our gifts make a difference, that we can appreciate the gifts of our neighbors, and that we need unassuming things like stones and stories and soup pots to hold it all together. The story reminds us that many different kinds of contributions are needed, and that our communities thrive when we lower the barriers to abundance, when we let love and justice pour past the false divisions between us. It's a good story. Let's hold its meaning past today through the coming holiday season and the year ahead. May it be so. Okay, I think we're going to sing some more. Let's see. We're going to sing 1058 in your teal hymnal, Be Ours a Religion. This one's super short, so please rise in body and or in spirit. We're going to sing it twice. Like sunshine goes everywhere, it's green all through, it's going to the world. Now that you got it, let's do it again. Like sunshine goes everywhere. It's simple streets, it's shine with heart, it's green all truth, it's ritual words.
It is time now to bring our Sunday service to an end. After we speak in unison the words for extinguishing the chalice, and I give the closing words, those here in the sanctuary are invited to turn to say goodbye to those attending on Zoom, followed by the postlude. But first, some words of closing. Let us speak these words in unison as we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Go your ways, renewing your commitment to human care and hope. May you have enough, and may that you know that you are enough. Go in peace, return again in love. Bless and peace. Now let's say goodbye to our Zoom friends. Bye, Zoom friends. Thank you for coming. And we'll enjoy the postlude. Bye, Zoom friends.